Are you ready to break the chains of poverty over your life? What a doctor has the remedy. The book, The 10 Commandments to Black Economic Power, is here right now, written by the People Scholar, finance PhD, Dr. Boyce Watkins. Also, buckle your seatbelt because summer 2023, B1, the movie, is about to launch. You definitely don't want to miss that. And here's what you all been waiting for. The All Black National Convention is making a stop in Atlanta. That's right, we coming to the A. October 2023. Make sure you go to boycewatkins.com to get your tickets, or we'll have the link in the description box as well. And if you're about your money, like you better be, right? I need everybody to text the word stock to the number 31996 to receive free Dr. Boyce Watkins stock alert.
Man, I'm hopeful. You know, it's a lot of movement going on, and a lot of people are waking up on both sides of the issue. A lot of people are getting active on both sides of the issue. And so from my perspective, we are in a moment of change. And so it is incumbent upon us to make sure we capture it and do the best that we can to get lasting change the way we want it out of this moment in time.
Right.
Yeah, how do you feel about NWA's Fuck the Police? Pretty much not breaking records, but more people are now starting to listen to that, you know, as a result of what's going on. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me. You know what I mean? It's the moment in time you're in, and what's going on, you know, it makes a lot of sense that more folks would have that attitude right now, you know.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Now we see Ice Cube very vocal out there on social media. People are calling him anti-Semitic, throwing out all of the calling out the elitists. And a lot of people saying this has been Cube all along. We had D. Ray Davis on. He said he woke up a sleeping bear. Now, you know Ice Cube a little better than most. How did you feel? What do you feel about what he's doing right now on social media and how he's getting at the people?
You know what? Cube has always been a monster, you know, and truth has always been his shield. And so he gonna speak his mind. And if it's the truth, it's the truth. You know, I mean, you have to sort of accept it like he come. I get mad at him when he started lying.
Word.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Always bringing it, like, even, you know, from that song, Fuck the Police. It was such a polarizing song back then, but he kept that attitude and he pretty much transitioned, you know, that into businesses and things like that, even challenging the NBA with the Big Three. But how was it, man, let's go back just a little bit, if you may, to come up and work with one of the most legendary hip hop groups ever, Niggas with Attitudes, NWA?
I'm a blessed dude, man. You know, I got the opportunity to work with a lot of really talented guys at a period in time when things were changing. And so if you look at my past and the path I walked, just the trajectory of that and the people I came in contact with, you know, 9 out of 10 people were legends. You know, whether it's whether you look at it from a positive perspective or a negative perspective, all of those guys were world changers, you know. And so just to even be sort of in that circle of people making art was just a blessing, bro.
No, our demographic should know exactly who you are, but for the people who don't know who DOC is, he is your top five. One of the greatest rappers of all time. And that ain't no debate. You ask people, your greatest top five, who's in their top five, and the DOCs are 9 out of 10 of those rappers. Can you take me back, because I'm such a fan of going from Dallas, Oak Cliff, and going into LA, and just that journey that you took from one point to another?
Yeah, bro, for me, it's crystallizing really only now. Because I'm really the furthest thing away from a thug nigga. I'm not a gangster nigga. I was just a good nigga, artist, a reader, and somebody who thought, outside the box about things other than the materialistic shit. For me, it was really about just making the best art possible, being the best. You know what I mean? And so going from that to the belly of the beast, so to speak, what was a hell of a motherfucking transition. And it took me a while to catch up to it. It was really a lot to deal with for a young guy. But now in my life, I see why God wanted me to walk that path and see those kind of people and be in the streets and be a part of that kind of shit, because those are the people that you really need to make long-lasting cement change in the world, because those are your warriors. Mm-hmm. You can't fight a battle without your warriors. And the powers that be, at least from my perspective, shun those guys and don't see those guys as who they are, and so they're out there getting it how they get it. But from my perspective, you really need those guys to be on point if you really gonna do some change in the hood.
Mm. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Talk about, not just the NWA, but some of your secrets of longevity, in the game. Could you talk about that a little bit and how you made it and what point that you knew that, all right, look, we got something here, what we're doing?
I mean, I always knew I was him, bro. From day one, I knew me. And when I met Dre, his music was me. Music, you know what I mean? Like, when I first started, you make records and then you have to go into the studio and master and all that other kind of shit. When Dre made music, it already sounded like all of that shit when he was making it. Mm-hmm. You knew just by the quality of the sound of that shit that he was different than other motherfuckers. And so I stuck myself like to glue to that, because I know with that bed what as an artist I could do, and Q was already there, Red was already there, and they had already created the element, and the elements of what it would be, you know what I mean? And then when I got there, it added a certain creativity to the writing that wasn't there prior to I got, and then it was all about songs after that, you know what I mean? And so you had all kind of different songs, and some of them had the political kind of edge to it, and some of it was just, that ratchet shit, for lack of a better way of putting it. But all of us together was really the formula to make some really cold-blooded shit. Like, it's never just one guy. It's always about 3 or 4 guys, and everybody got something. And when you can lose your ego and put that shit together, usually it's gonna be some dope shit.
Do you think Dr. Dre is not appreciated as he should be? For being one of the pioneers, definitely of the West Coast. Do you think he gets the credit he deserves?
That's an interesting question, because I think anybody that knows any goddamn thing knows that Dre's the guy. Mm-hmm. You can't not know he's the one. You know what I mean? But that said, it's possible. You know what I mean? Like, those kind of lists are all subjective, depending on where you grew up at, what area you live in. So I don't even get into those kind of conversations really. But you'd have to be blind or really unaware to not know how powerful Dre's footprint is in this whole thing,
How are you and Dre now?
That's my brother. He calls me every other day, talking shit.
Good.
And he's always working. I always want me to hear some shit. And yeah, man, that's my brother. I'm really grateful to him.
That's
And thankful for him because he did a lot.
that was dope. I appreciate that. How was Eazy's death? How did that affect you?
You know what? To be perfectly honest, I didn't get to be as close to Eric as those other guys. You know, they started and built their whole thing together. I only had maybe a year and a half. Then. But I knew who he was and respected him. And he was every bit, you know, he's the prototype. Eazy is the prototype to the shit that you hear right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's how impactful he was as an artist. The guys, they're still doing him, their versions of him today in his popular music. You know what I mean? So, and as a human being, the guy was a good guy. He was a street nigga to the hill. I knew not to fuck with him, you know. And like I said, I really appreciate all the stuff that those guys did for me, especially that guy.
Now, like I said, you were our favorite rappers, top 5. You were one of the baddest to ever do it. You came out with your album. Obviously, you sitting back there. The album cover's right there behind the statue, the King of King, Lord of Lords. I heard you talk one time and say at some point you were so hot after the album that you really thought you were the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Can you talk us through the height of that once the album came out, the run, the notoriety that you got, the love you received from it, and how that made you feel?
Yeah, man, you talking about a dude that came from nothing. You know what I mean? You talking about a guy that dropped out of school because he dropped out of high school because he only had a couple pair of jeans to wear. And, you know, motherfuckers talk about you so bad you just don't want to be in that environment. You got a dude that came from kind of a broken home where nothing was really working right to you know, a year later, motherfuckers thought I was the coldest shit since sliced bread. And you know, I think Dre always says your ego is not your amigo. And, you know, I've lived that experience because, you know, I was an arrogant motherfucker as a young guy. And that shit, it really hurt me in my development, even though I believe that, you know, my steps are ordered. So that was a path that I had to take to learn to be the man that I am today. But yeah, it got so, on the West Coast, it got so big that the kids start wearing the King of Kings on their rings and their tattoos in their hair. And so, yeah, I thought it was me. But the whole story began with a prayer that I gave on my sister's couch when my parents wanted to send me to the army and shit. And I prayed so motherfucking hard, bro, that if you would just let me be the best, I promise you, when I get there, I'm gonna tell everybody it was you, it wasn't me, which is why I took the picture with the statue in the first place. That's what I was trying to say, you know. But the kids took it the way they wanted to take it, and then ego took over, and then the alcohol took over, and all of that old shit, and it was just, you know, it was a rough deal.
Right.
What's been one of your secrets, or a few of your secrets, of having longevity but surviving what you survived, still coming out on the other end, man, humble and grateful?
Man, God made me a real one. You know, he don't. They say he gives the hardest lessons to the strongest of us. You know what I mean? And so all I could do is give it up to him on that. Because look, I told you I wasn't a gangster nigga going in. I didn't know shit about that world. So when that shit hit me, I was already in one space. And then when the fucking accident happened, now I'm in another space. And it's just all bad. You know what I mean? But I'm a believer. So I held on to that as tightly as I could and persevered, man, and had faith. And I believed, you know. And so, like I said, at this moment in time, that we living in right now is a huge transition for me, not just because of COVID or because of the moves that we see that we making as people of color in this country and really all over the world. But this moment in time was meant for me somehow, and I can't tell you all the shit that's coming. But a year from now, we'll be able to sit down this conversation, and you'll really be able to understand that last thing.
Dope. I hope that's done right here at our studio.
Yeah.
Personally, that would be crazy. You talked about the accident. Now, 3 months after the album, that's when tragedy struck. That's when you had the accident. Can you walk the people through that, if you don't mind?
Yeah, man. It was. Like I said, that was me and Suge time. And we was going to every motherfucking club in Hollywood, getting kicked out every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like clockwork. We go buy brand new clothes on Thursday and tear the clothes up fighting by Sunday. And repeated that shit every week because that's the spirit says, when you walk into a room, it's the same spirits in every room. And if you sit and listen to a person talk and don't concentrate on the vessel, you can hear the spirit. And once you hear that spirit talk, you know what the fuck you're dealing with. And so if you choose to continue that relationship in 2020, hindsight being 2020, you already know where you're going once you start going down that road. And so it shouldn't be a surprise where you end up, and that's just man-to-man conversation. Anybody can understand that when you walk into a room and start talking to a person, whether that spirit is a spirit of deceit, whether that's a warrior spirit, whether that's a calm spirit, it's how the verbiage they use that when they talk to you, because really it's their spirit trying to talk to yours. So you got to be aware enough to know who the fuck you're talking to when you're talking to a person, and know which road to take, because trust me, looking back, I knew exactly who those guys were, all of them, when they started talking. The how is just so good. I didn't want to let it go.
I remember you coming out of that accident, or you talking about coming out of that accident, you were very bitter and upset because obviously a tragic accident like that, taking away one of your greatest weapons at the time, your voice. What was your mind like after that? Like, how were you thinking moving forward? I almost kind of attribute it, and apologize if I'm taking it the wrong way, but like almost somebody losing a leg that was a sprinter, somebody. Like, how did you take that?
No, I took it like Bo, you know what I'm saying? Like Bo Jackson. You know what I mean? Like that's what I felt like I was robbed. You know what I mean? Man, can you imagine what we'd have got to see if Bo?
Right.
It wouldn't happen to Bo Jackson, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it was a struggle, and I leaned on the other things that I did well, the writing. Those other guys became my voice because I didn't want to go home. That arrogant ass young nigga had tripped himself up, and I didn't want to go home and face that humiliation. You know what I mean? So I stuck with it. I had no other choice. I do whatever the fuck I had to do to make sure I could stay within that machine and keep being a contributor at a high level. And when Snoopy came, he really afforded me the opportunity to put all my eggs into his basket, and push him, and he was really great about that. He knew. So I didn't know this till later, but he knew where I was. He saw the suffering in his spirit. He knew, and he just called me the other night. We was talking about this exact shit. How when he first came in, he moved into a house with me, and was taking all of my, that I could give him, that I could feed him. A year later, I moved into his apartment with him because I had lost everything. And the same apartment, same furniture. we were sitting on in my house was now in his house.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And he took care of me the same way I took care of him. He rode that ride with me as much as he could. And then when his shit started blowing, you know, it felt like I was still winning as you know, as much as I could be.
Are you surprised or not surprised, I should say, to see where Snoop is now, where he started from where he is now?
No, not surprised. The only surprise I had is that it took him so long,
right,
to walk comfortably in it. You know what I mean? Because he was always it. He calls me his teacher, but you can't teach Jim Brown how to run a football. He just do that. You know what I mean? What I can do is help him be comfortable in knowing how good he is when he's doing it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I know he was involved with a little nonsense a couple months ago with the dude that got out of jail for telling on everybody. Did anybody tell him, yo, you need to chill on that? You too old to be dealing with that child like that? Or do you think what did you think about that when you seen him going back and forth with Duke?
Yeah, but like I'm not a street guy. You know what I mean? And so I tend to stay clear of that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I know what the code is. You know what I mean? Like I've seen a lot of shit. A lot of motherfuckers have done me not the greatest, but I never said nothing negative about nobody. Because the code is you don't talk shit about motherfuckers when you know what you're doing.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not I ain't even got no comment on the rap shit. I don't. It's not anything I would do. But we're in a really weird time where people like Candace Owens are popular just because of the understanding that they have of the bullshit that's in the game, right? Isn't it? She's not saying she's repeating a bunch of bullshit because it pays. Same thing with the little other guy. She's repeating a bunch of bullshit because it pays.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think.
Ghostwriting. Do you feel like it takes away from the artist when people ghostwrite for art? I mean, especially when people say, all right, this one is, the top 10 or the top 5. It's commonly they'll say, well, oh, they got ghostwriters. How do you think that takes away from the artist, in your opinion?
Well, there was a time when that was relevant.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that shit's relevant anymore. They consider Eazy one of the greatest, and he never wrote shit.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Some of Dre's best work came from my pen and Snoopy's pen and Eminem's pen. And I consider Dre's hip hop. I consider the Chronic album a landmark on how the shit should be done. If you ask me, you know what I mean? It's just fucking entertaining on every level. I think sonically, Doggy Style is probably his best record, but as far as conceptually, that Chronic record was just a joy to listen to for most motherfuckers, including myself.
Talk about Suge. Talk about your relationship with Suge back then and a relationship that's ending now. And yeah,
I don't have any ill feelings towards any of those guys. Suge was my friend. A lot of people called him my bodyguard, but I never paid that nigga shit. And I never gave him. And I didn't have no money. He didn't have no money. I didn't have no money. But I had just enough to, go blow it on a couple hundred on some new clothes every weekend, but no real money to pay somebody. The guy was a DOC fan. He got his big ass in a 1989 Suzuki Sidekick and drove with me to Dallas from California with his big ass cooped up in the car, slept on my mama's floor. Like me. We went to Vegas and hung out a gang of times, and He was doing whatever business he was doing, and I was kicking it. You know what I mean? He always had big ass bags. When we drove back to California, but I didn't know what the fuck was in it and didn't give a shit. You know, because I was my nigga and we was kicking it. I hate that I would never wish on any man the situation that he got going on for himself. But God has a pathway for everybody, you know, and you know, he's the great architect. He the one wrote this movie. So I'm just trying to play my part so I can get me an Academy Award like Denzel. And dude should do the same.
During the East Coast West Coast feud, what was it like from your view?
Yeah, I'm a Biggie guy. So it was difficult for me to even ingest that bullshit from a rap perspective. I'm not a street nigga, so I don't even know how to look at this nonsense y'all niggas is on right now. Like, what the fuck is it proving? Plus, I'm from the South. And nigga, if my voice wasn't gone, I'm better than all you motherfuckers. I don't have any argument for any of it, but it goes back to the list thing. Everybody want to be the best. I don't have a list where who's the top anything. If I had a list, it would be my starting five. You know what I mean? And my starting five is like a basketball squad. I put my starting five, the starting five. Everybody in my starting five is number one. God damn it. And the sixth man. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I didn't really get off into the East Coast, West Coast beat at all, man, because I am East Coast as an MC, and I'm West Coast as an MC too. So shit, you know.
Do you keep up with the current people in Dallas now, the current artists at all, or on the West Coast at all now?
Not as much as I should, you know, but
right.
There's young guys in here, and I'm always listening though, listening for the next, you know, and there's a couple young folks out there that I think really got something special. They just haven't figured out that vibe yet. But the hood niggas, it's a guy named Yellow Beezy down here that really likes him. It's a guy named Trap Boy Freddy down here, a guy named Mo3 down here, and they seem to be the guys that are making the most noise. It's a kid named Casino in Fort Worth. I went and visited him, and most of these young guys, they got a lot of respect, you know, and they see me as what they call me. So, you know, I support them any way I can, and I believe in all of them. I want them all to make that money, go get it. I just wish they could figure out that they're much stronger as a cohesive unit than they are.
Yeah.
Separated, everybody trying to chase the bag separately, because it's if you come together and make the scene in the city the shit, make the scene a place where all y'all fans can congregate without fear of bullshit. That's how you really get it. You know what I mean? A lot of money going back and forth. Everybody's exchanging ideas and fans, and it's a great sort of thing for the whole city. But we haven't quite got to that point yet.
I heard you say just recently, you said you just recently felt like you started to wake up, started to be not about what you lost, but about what you've become. Can you talk about that for us?
Yeah, I really can't do too much talking about it, Kinfolk, because I don't want to give it away. But I'm gonna say it like this. I'm in the middle of a moment, bro. God is moving. And a year from now, we will have witnessed one of the most delightful in our time.
You got something big going on. You can't give us a little bit of what that is? Nothing.
Oh, man, G.O.D. is moving. It's not me.
Okay.
It's a G.O.D. thing. It's not a D.O.C. thing. We know what the King of Kings really mean now. So we're going to stand on that, and we're going to let him do what he do, and I'm going to play my part in this movie and see if I can get me a goddamn Academy Award.
Like Denzel.
Absolutely.
Can you give the people the DOC's basketball lineup, his starting 5 and the 6 man?
Yeah. Let me see. Rakim.
Okay.
Okay.
Tupac. I had it in my head the other day. Those 3. Eminem is on there.
Uh-oh.
Actually it's a Eminem and a little Lil Wayne thing.
Whoa. Oh.
What are you doing with that knife, bro? And why are you coming in here messing with my interview? You got what?
I want 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Stand right there. Slick Rick.
Dope.
Big Daddy Kane.
You got Eminem.
6 man.
You got Lil Wayne and Eminem. We debate a lot about them 2 brothers on here, Lil Wayne and Eminem. He's in a lot of people's top 10. Eminem, a lot of people's top 5, and then he's not in people's top anything. What do you think about what do you think about Eminem in the grander scheme of hip hop? Does he get a fair shake? Has he been blanketed because he's a white rapper? Just talk about Eminem as a whole.
Look, the whole pimp say you gotta take the good with the bad, right? One of the main reasons that he's able to do some of the amazing things he's able to do is because he's a white guy. Some of the knocks that he get, that's heavy knocks, is because he's a white guy. But the one thing you can't take from the kid is he's a talented motherfucker that shook up the whole world when he jumped in the shit, doing some amazing motherfucking records. I mean, what the fuck? You know, everybody else, hey, bro, why would you do that? Can you see I'm talking about? Don't do that. Seriously. You're getting on my nerves.
This is podcast.
Yeah. Go in there with your mama right quick. I'm finna come in there. Okay, you gonna kick it. Well, yeah, like he gets knocks, bro, and he gets praise, you know. But you can't take away the fact that the guy's really good. Don't do that, son. That's all right. You all right.
Tupac, though, you still got him number 3 on the list. A lot of times people know
number 3s. Everybody on that list is 1.
Yeah.
Numbers. Everybody on that list is a number 1. My number 1 is the number 1 that motivated me of all time is Rakim. That guy touched a button that made me want to be really great at this shit. Because when I first started at it, it was all about my voice. And I could put so much rage in it and fire in it and speed and movement and blah, blah, blah. But Rakim was the total opposite and could do just as much damage without exerting any energy, it felt like. Like, you know, when them Kung Fu motherfuckers are so cold, like at the end of The Matrix, when Neo finally figured the shit out, he started fucking with Mr. Smith. He was looking at his fingernails and shit while he was kicking his ass. That's what, you know what I mean? And so that is the total opposite of what I was. And so it really made me want to go hard in the paint. And the only other person besides Slick Rick to really jump in for me and be like, oh man, was B.I.G., you know? And so, but Tupac was so much more than Tupac was, man, you can't just call him a rapper or MC. He was just a star that could rap. He was a star that could act. He was a star that could move generations of people. He was, in our lifetime, he was one of those Malcolm X figures, H. Rap Brown figures, Stokely Carmichael figures. He was that for us. And because of the situation he found himself in, and for whatever the reasons and purpose may have been, we got cut short. We didn't get to see the fulfillment of what the possibilities were with that guy, but I think he was so much more than just a person that rapped. I wouldn't even want to try to talk about him in those terms.
For all those reasons, is it safe to say that we could put Tupac as the most polarizing rapper of all time? Just because everybody now is a new Tupac, everybody's a new this, the new that.
Yeah.
He's the status quo when it comes to whether he's in your top 5, 1, 2, or whatever or not. That's the dude that everyone wants to be. So is it fair to say he's like the most polarizing of all time?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Had that the ability, without question. Because these kids in the street, they wanted that. I'm the next Tupac. They're grafting themselves to that thug element. He did that for them in a way that made them feel correct in their stance, right? But if Tupac were here today and told them street niggas, put down your guns and quit killing one another, you think they'd follow that? You think they'd follow him? Or would they say Tupac then went soft, he ain't about that street no more, right? And so I look at things, I try to take a step back and look at it from the God's POV. So what Tupac was or could have been for that movement, man, we only got to see flashes of it, like Bo, man?
Yeah.
Where would he be today with right now in this moment in time? Where he would be.
Right
in the front, giving them a hell. Mm-hmm. Like where Cube is right now, he'd be out there on that. I just heard a song today that Chuck did. It's called, what is that shit called? Something like a brand new Public Enemy song. And it just feels like the tide is shifting backwards, to quote my old East Coast brothers. Things are going back to a real black perspective. And even the young niggas on the streets, it's like, nigga, I seen Eazy-E on something yesterday talking about, on some real black power shit. And I'm like, yeah, man, once it gets there, and once that element gets back to the streets, then you're just starting to put together the same principles that the Panthers had, where it's all about community, good, bad, and ugly. We're going to protect this soil right here because this is our shit. You're not going to police the same way in here as you do out there. Mm-hmm. And so, man, that's what I see. And I'm hopeful that that's where we're going.
Oh, I got one more question for you. Name some of the classic records that we know and love that DOC has his hands on, because I'm sure there's plenty of them that people may not even know.
My discography is pretty much set in stone on the West Coast. Mm-hmm. Just pick one. You know what I mean? Easy Does It album, Straight Outta Compton album, my album, Michelle's album, the Chronic album, Doggy Style album, the 2001 record, MC Breed's material, Above the Law material, man, And so if you go through all of those albums, I'm all over the place. When you don't see my name, I'm there.
Yeah. Dope.
One question, my last question would be, any advice that you would give to the youth, just to the youth coming up?
Yeah, man. Don't listen to old motherfuckers like me because it's your turn. It's your time. Focus on being the best version of whatever the fuck you want to be. And G.O.D. got the rest. Because whatever that is, right? It's all in his movie, right? And so whether I always go back to Training Day because niggas can really understand that analogy. When Ethan Hawke and Denzel, depending on what perspective you was watching the movie, was the good guy, bad guy, and you couldn't have had that movie if you took one of those elements away. Also, there was motherfuckers that was just sitting on the corner on the phone when they walked by. Also, it was motherfuckers just standing outside looking tough when Denzel finally got his ass whooped. All of those people were necessary to make that movie what it was. The people that were a part of that movie, even though Denzel and Ethan were the guys, everybody got a benefit from that movie. So they all respected and loved each other on that level. So like the good book says, love your neighbor like you love yourself. When you step back from the movie and see that they're all just playing a role in the movie, it becomes easier for you to just love them for what they're doing and not attach yourself to it and feel a particular kind of way about it. You know what I mean? And so that's the movie. That's the real life movie I'm living in. And so I try to take a step back from shit and not really attach myself to it so that it fucks with me one way or another. Stay in the moment and just try to be the best motherfucking DOC I could be from this point on, so that little dude that you just seen walk up out of here know what his father was really about.
Powerful, man. We just interviewed the goddamn DOC, man.
Yeah, man.
Humbling, bro.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, big bro. Thank you very much.
I love, man. God bless.
Appreciate it. Can you let the people know before exiting where they can find you, your handles, social media handles, things like that?
I'm a West Coast Doc on Twitter, and I'm CDOC on the letter C, like Crip, DOC. But I'm not no Crip though. On Instagram, and I don't have a hell of a, I've been sitting on the sideline, bro, for almost 30 years, bro. I'm just now getting this itch. And so all the things that are going on in my life right now are planned steps. And all I can tell you is, goddamn it, buckle up.
Hey, well, we love to be right along with that journey. Whenever you want to come back on this platform, the door is wide open. You let us know when you're on, brother. We sincerely appreciate your time. Legendary DOCs in the building. Thank you very much.